It was actually a comment on my treasure video that made me realize that I should make a video about trolling. Now, some people say that this girl Treasure is trolling everybody, doing this for attention or doing this to get rich. While I don't doubt that any 16-year-old girl would do pretty much anything to get attention, because that's the psychology of a 16-year-old girl, what I would say is there are a lot safer ways to go about what she's going about than by, how can I put this, than by lambasting the black community and pointing out the truths about blacks. As you can see in my comments sections, blacks get very irate when you point out facts about their overrepresentation in the participation of violent crime in the country and things like that. These are things that she's pointed out. Okay, they get very aggressive sometimes, and especially her living in a black community might not go over too well for her. What I would also say is, does she have, I would guarantee that she does go back and forth. Clearly the girl is mentally and emotionally disturbed. Most people do not wake up and say that they're a race that is not phenotypically obvious. Like, I would not wake up and start saying that I'm East Indian, okay, or that I'm Chinese or something like that, because that's clearly not the case. But for somebody like her, that might be the case. Does she go back and forth? Probably. Does she really believe she's white? Probably not. I would guarantee you she doesn't think she's white. Obviously, the girl's not blind. However, I do believe that through treatment by blacks and by living in a black community and seeing certain behaviors that she doesn't like, she doesn't wish to identify as a black person. And I've seen this with other black people. I've never seen anybody that's gone so far to say that they're not black. That's not happened. Well, no, that's not true. I have seen people go so far as to say they're not black, but then they usually identify as like a true Israelite or a Saudi Arabian or some other ridiculous thing of that nature. I've seen that in my personal life. It's also very common for whites to identify as blacks. That's been going on since the 90s. Probably the late 80s, but I only remember the 90s with the Wigger movement, and a lot of whites would identify as black. They'd be talking with the, they'd be sagging their pants, and they'd be talking like the jive talk and whatnot, because that'd be the way to be being cool, listening to rap music and whatnot. And that has continued to the modern era. Now there's people in their 50s acting like that. But now I'm going to get into the psychology of a troll. The psychology of a troll, you have to understand, a mentally healthy person or an emotionally healthy person does not turn on a device, log into the internet, and go, you know what I want to do? Piss people off. So, if Treasure is trolling, it just speaks more to the fact that she is not mentally or emotionally well, okay? That shouldn't be a newsflash. But to go further into trolling, what people need to understand, the reason that people do this, think about this. You have the internet in front of you. Most people use it primarily for entertainment. Some people like me use it for a mixture of entertainment and researching things like anti-aging and things of that nature, and rejuvenation therapy, stuff like that. Most people use it for entertainment, okay? But think about the mentality of somebody that their goal is to log into a computer, log into the internet, and see how they can upset people so that they can get attention. Now that is the mentality of a disturbed person. Now you see this most with like the left, well, really just the whole left. There is no more far left. The left is just bananas anymore. And the alt-right. The alt-right attracts mentally deranged people, mostly millennials, but then you see people like that boomer bomber guy in Florida, and then you see people that are of other ethnicities that identify as as white. One that I'm aware of, there was a dude on Facebook that identified as white and was clearly Dravidian, which is a dark East Indian, an Australoid. So it's not uncommon, and it's not everybody is trolling. Some people really do, due to the way society is structured, they're racially confused on purpose. Some of them just do not like their race, so they identify as another race, and that's about it.